because that was right when Serato came out that I really felt like, I kept saying Serato changed my DJ life.
What's up? You got your boy Dyreck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. Because today we're going to be talking about Serato DJ. What had happened was... So the year is 1977. Place, New York City. The event, the Blackout. So imagine that you're chilling, doing your regular thing, whether you're on the subway or going out getting some dinner, and all of a sudden, within a blink of an eye, the lights went out. Oh man. First it was cool, but then it started getting kind of gangster. You start hearing windows breaking, people running, going crazy in the street. The looters are in full effect. Everything is just chaotic. People are taking furniture, TVs. Everything is being taken now. And also what's being taken, cats just over there by the corner by Thug-a-Lot Street breaks into a Radio Shack. Clank! And they just start taking big speakers, Pioneer speakers, Technique 1200 turntables, you know what I'm saying? All types of wiring. In fact, they start breaking in all the electronic stores and just start taking everything that's not nailed down. And then the lights finally come on. And probably about 1,000 DJs were born. And then we fast forward all the way. DJs is getting it pumping, doing their thing. And then we hit 2013. There's a sudden stop. And a company named Serato, which had a program before called Serato Scratch, which was pretty dope, comes out with their flagship software program for DJing. And that's Serato DJ. And at that point, the DJ game changed. Now, they had other DJ software products before Serato, but something was special about Serato. Number one, you get your BPM detection. Pretty dope. You get your time stretch. Real-time time stretch. You get your beat matching technology. You get your dope effects. A simple GUI. You got your 2 turntables. You can convert it to 4 if you like. You got your sync button. Sync? What's that? You get a pretty intuitive crate filing system. But what made Serato special was its real turntable-like feel. You know, the DJs that are used to scratching records and doing all the tricks, spinning them back and doing all the rewind, all the fancy stuff, they love Serato because you could do all of that and you don't miss a beat. It's real time. You know what I'm saying? Some other DJ programs, like if you try to scratch records and you start doing all the tricks and things like that, you could kind of feel and detect latency and stuff, and it didn't feel right. But Serato always felt right. Now, not everything was sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows with Serato. Some people didn't like that. It was kind of buggy at first when dealing with PCs and stuff. And then Serato had a business model where you'd buy something and they would come with a new, you could say like an upgrade or something like that. Or like, they'll be like, hey, how you doing, user? Here's this new way to time stretch. You want to check it out? And you're like, yeah, okay, no doubt. They're like, all right, it's going to be $29.99. And you're like, wait, what? Their business model was kind of like that. It's like when you're playing video games, like let's say you're playing Street Fighter and you're going in with Guile, you know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden they add in a new red sonic boom and you want to use the sonic boom. And then they're like, yeah, you got to get the DLC content. And you're like, okay, how much is the DLC content? They're like, it's $59.99. $59.99? The game was $39.99. And by the time you finish buying all the DLC, the downloadable content, you end up paying for the game like 30 times over, a lot of DJs were kind of against the whole software surge. And then a lot of them didn't like the MIDI controller thing, the DJ controllers that were out. Some of them were dope, but some of them was like, I'm not really in all that, man. But then Serato came out with their DVS technology, which stands for Digital Vinyl System. And what this did was that it allowed you to play your old turntable record players with the new software that was coming out. They give you these 2 blank records, right? But it has the grooves like a real record and everything. So when you put them on the turntable and, start mixing or scratching or doing whatever, reversing, forward, and doing anything you do on the turntable, it sends a ringing tone message to this DVS box. And then the box then sends the message to Serato or whatever software you're using, which then plays it out on your MP3 any way you're manipulating the record at the time. So when this came out, when this technology came out, it changed the game, especially for Serato, because now a lot of the old school DJs that loved using their their Technique B1 turntables and all other kind of vintage turntables could now bring it into the stage and use it along with their Serato software. So now they weren't missing a beat. A lot of authentic DJ guys were getting offended because when software like Serato came out, everybody thought there was a DJ. Everybody just came on. They was like, oh, wait, what? I can come over here and just throw on MP3s and rock a party? Okay, let's do this. And that's what they were doing. Guys from that before was trying to be accountants all of a sudden said, nah, man, I'm a DJ. And they were DJing records and doing a horrible job. Not knowing how to mix records together, not knowing how to move the crowd or when to calm the crowd down. You know what I'm saying? They was just looking at that sync button, push sync. And that was like a cardinal sin to the authentic guys. They were like, sync? We sync by ear. What do you mean pushing a button and having the program do it for you automatically? These guys was doing whatever, and they were not doing the knowledge and the history of just learning how to DJ. They would come up to like some thorough DJ and be like, hey, bro, hey, that was a pretty great show you're doing. Tomorrow I'm gonna DJ at Madison Square Garden. Yeah, they're paying me about 30 grand for it. And you're like, oh, have you DJ'd before? They're like, yeah, I DJ'd in front of my cousin and his homeboy probably a week and a half ago. And the authentic DJ guy's just looking at him like, this is crazy. And the dude's like, hey man, why do you have all these crates around? And he's like, I use these crates because I carry records. He was like, what? You carry records in those? Wow, I thought you were going to do the milk crate challenge in the middle of your show. Because I did one last week, man. I had the stacks like 10 feet high. Me and my boys, man, we fell off that, man. Oh, man, you see the scar on my arm? Yeah, I got that from the milk crate challenge, man. Yeah, 17 stitches. Can you believe it? The workflow of Serato DJ is pretty simple. You import and highlight the track you want to use. If you go to the top left section above the file section, there's a button that says Analyze. If you press it, Serato will analyze your song for you. It'll find the BPM, which will make it easier to do like cue points and everything like that. So then you drag and drop the song file, to either one of the turntables. While it's on the turntable, the white circle basically tells you the BPM. That's the top numbers. The numbers underneath that tells you the time elapsed in the song, the time that you passed in the song. And the numbers underneath that tells you the time left in the song. It has this kind of curved bar thing outside of the circle that kind of like lets you follow your song as it goes through. It has a key lock button with the music symbol on it. It locks your track so that if you change the speed, it'll still remain the same pitch, It has your cue point section where you could basically, cue points are like markers that you put on your song, and then whenever you press the cue point button, it'll like immediately go to that part of the song. You can get about 8 cue points, and that section also doubles as a loop section where you can get about 8 loops. It has a DJ effects button where you get like all your effects, like breaker effect or a flanger effect or something. And they even have a sample player button where if you press it, they give you 4 banks, and each bank has 6 slots for samples. So it's a sample player. So you can have like horns or trumpets, like bum bum bum, or like, let's say if your tag is there, you can have it where you press a button and it's like DJ Dyreck live in effect. You know what I'm saying? So it's a pretty cool software. It has the controversial sync button. Now, the sync button basically puts everything on time, but you got some old school DJs that don't want to use the sync button. The sync button on Serato has brought thousands of DJs their homes, their cars, and some even their families. You know what I'm saying? Because all you gotta do is you click the sync button and everything is always on time. So when you're syncing 2 records together for mixing or whatever, everything is on time. So when Serato DJ first came out, it was about $130. And not to lie, people ran to it. I mean, you had the authentic DJs that were kind of pissed off at this piece of software, but a lot of folks got Serato and got busy. I mean, in this music business and stuff, sometimes guys that make beats online and do things like that, sometimes they complain about how hard it is to sell and everything like that. DJing is an art form that, was created from, of course, like hip hop and everything. But this thing is like the secret of wealth. When you're trying to think like, man, how to make money, how to start a business, become a DJ, especially with the software out now. You could do it. I mean, there's other good software like Virtual DJ and Tractor, which also competes with Serato even till this day. But whatever you use, you can get busy. I mean, you can write off the equipment on your taxes. You could do so. I mean, it's like a gift to making money, real money. They got people touring all overseas and stuff, making like thousands of dollars, and that's expected. It's like you go to a promoter and you're expected to get $4,000 for the night. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, that's Serato DJ. What had happened was... So this is your boy Dyreck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to go down low in the description and get that Native Styles drum kit. Perfectly curated sounds for the styles you need. You know what I mean? So this is your boy Dyreck, aka Native Shades, reminding you to like and subscribe. And I'm signing off.